Hello, everybody. Can I have some confirmation that this is working? Good. I can see a name, things popping up on the side. Hello, hello. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 5. Good. I can see you all having a wee introduction there. This is good. This is good. All right. Any confirmation that I have sound? Come on, I will just talk. Hello, 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 hello. Yes, we have sound. Boom! Thank you, Wanderer Free or Wander Free Bob Miller. That is fantastic. Seems like we are rolling. You know what, folks? You have something on your face. I just need to clean the lens. Bear with. That's better. Look at that. Sorry, this is a little bit frantic. I'm a bit stressed out, as so often happens with these live sessions. I'm still dirty. I've been really struggling to get Wi-Fi connection, so I've had to drive to a village hall where I know that there's Wi-Fi. Literally pulled up 3 minutes ago, and then because obviously the feed disconnected, I have one feed over here that's trying to go live, and this feed which has now gone live, and it's just a little bit like, why? I tried to be prepared. I was also going to have a wash before this live session because I haven't washed in a week, but that's probably TMI. So, hello, welcome to another live session. We're in the van, home sweet home. This is where I live now. It's all right. I'm just trying to get this. It's always backwards. It's very confusing. It looks like a home. It looks messy. I don't have a space to be like, this is my dining room. Actually, I'm sitting on my table, so I do, but that's that. And feel like this is my office space because it's all in one. But I'm very excited to be here, hanging out with you all. So this is a Q&A session dedicated to long distance hiking and answering the questions that you might have around long distance hiking, but in particular, the Alta Via 1. Amazing long distance trail across the Italian Dolomites. Give me a big thumbs up, first of all on the video, but also in the feed if you've watched the movie and you enjoyed it. I would really love to hear from you live right here as we're having this conversation. How you found the movie, potentially, like, did anything surprise you about it? Was there anything that really wowed you? Anything that caused you to feel anxious or unsettled? Like, give me an insight into your personal experience having watched that movie. If you haven't watched it, this is going to be a little bit out of context, some of the questions that I'm going to be answering. But there's time. That's the beautiful thing about YouTube, is like stuff is there forever till YouTube goes. My own personal opinion, slight side note, I do think YouTube is on a big self-destruction rolling thing. That's all right. I've got hard drives, my stuff's safe and good. But for you folks, it's there until it's not. So enjoy. Really nice to see some good thumbs up there. Thank you so much. So basically, I've got a few things that I want to, as always, give you a little bit of an update with. Now we're gonna work on the emojis here. We've got all the emojis happening today. Also, people, I can see more emojis here on the side than actually on the like button for this video, so don't forget to hit that. But no, the next emoji I'm going to challenge you to share is in response to, are you subscribed to my newsletter? Because if you are, some of this news is not going to be new. I sent one out a couple of days ago, giving you some, in my opinion, quite epic updates of some new stuff that is coming, and I want to know whether you're subscribed. So what we're going to choose, let me have a look at the right. Oh, I'm on flags. If you are subscribed to my newsletter, well, here we go. Let's go for food, because that's my love language. Send a broccoli emoji. Oh, I went there. It's all about the broccoli, kids. Can I add a broccoli? Where's the broccoli? Do we have broccoli? Can we search it? Brock. Yes. There you go. That's what I want to see. Broccoli. I love broccoli. Broccoli's great. Good to have your cruciferous vegetables, kids. So that's brilliant. This is great. I'm doing emojis more often, man. Okay, thank you very much for all of you who are subscribed to my newsletter. If you're not, it's on my website, spendmoretimeInTheWild.co.uk. As soon as you open it, a really annoying pop-up is going to pop up, and that's how you can subscribe. So make sure you do that now. Be there or be square. Oh, look at all this broccoli. Mate, we've got a feast going on. So I'm currently up in Scotland. I love it here. As of this trip, I'm officially calling this place home. As you know, me and my partner, we had to leave our home back in July. Absolute blessing in disguise. You know, I hated that place. No, that's a very strong word. There were the living conditions were substandard. I would say my health has significantly improved since having left there, so I'm really happy about that. Paul Dudgeon, shush now. I'm wearing a hoodie for a reason. Big reveal. Yes, so I've been up here for the last couple of weeks, I think. I'm losing track of time. It's a bit of a time warp. I've been doing some work, as I mentioned in the newsletter. Essentially like mental work, trying to just like recalibrate, and it's it's a really weird one. I'm trying a little bit to process a lot of grief and pain that I'm feeling at the moment, for just general like life circumstances, like childhood stuff. But also I'm just trying to find my feet a little bit in terms of like, who am I, independent of name, independent of gender, independent of anything, without wild. And that's a little bit tricky, actually, because, you know, I've turned my entire passion, in fact, my pretty much entire character, into my job. And it's a really weird one because it's like, you know, I've had plenty of opportunities recently down in Cornwall, up here in Scotland, en route, to just be like, oh, I could go hike this and I could do this and do that. And I have this tent review to do. Like, Tony, I still have your tent. I need to do that review. It's been in my van everywhere. You know, it's just like, there's stuff to do here, people. But then it's like, you know, I have just worked my butt off for so much screen time editing this Alta Via 1 movie. I really need a break. And then it's like, well, what does Abbie do when I'm not doing the thing that I do? And you know, the truth is, I want to go and see my friends, but all my friends are in other countries. Generally speaking, I mean, me and you, Tony, we hung out a little bit. But you know, Sweden, Denmark, wherever, America, you know, people are far away, and it's hard because, you know, in a way, I get a little bit lonely, and you know, it's a tricky one. So I've been playing my handpan, you know, quite a bit. I've been up in Scotland. I've done a couple of cycles. I've been going in the loch every day, which is one of the things that I do when I'm up here. I can't express like the internal contentment that I feel being in a place that I belong. It is a little bit weird every now and then because I keep expecting to see reindeer, because a lot of the landscape where I'm spending time is so similar to a lot of Sweden and Arctic Sweden, and there's reindeer. And as you know, I have reindeer tattoos and I love reindeer. In fact, I have my reindeer thing here from the Padulanta, and I have a reindeer cushion. And this is way before I even saw a reindeer. But, you know, I freaking love reindeers. But there's no reindeers up here, man. And on the Padulanta, we saw traces of bears. They were like honeycomb on the path, and I keep expecting to see that. So it's like, there's just a lot of thought and thinking and stuff happening. I've been doing some journaling, and generally just having a lot of quiet time. And, you know, I think this has been probably one of the more concentrated amounts of times that I've had just actually like living in my van. And I love it. I just absolutely love it. This is my home. I can go wherever I want. It's a couple of days, one place, move on. This lock, that lock, you know, bum, bum, bum. It's brilliant. And I'm in nature every day. I open the door and I'm like literally standing there drinking my coffee, doing my teeth, just like, this is nice. You know, it's just absolutely brilliant. I've been out in Cairngorms, yes, for the last couple of weeks. I've just moved down south slightly now. I'm beginning my journey down south, back for my Bushcraft Weekend. So I guess this is a little bit of a segue. So some of the stuff that's coming up next, as you know, if you shared the broccoli, is I've got a Bushcraft Weekend coming up. I'm really excited about this one. I've got 5 or 6 people attending, so it's a nice small little thing. And essentially what we're going to be doing from Friday the 8th to Sunday the 10th is just hanging out in the woods, in the wild landscape. It's with a good friend of mine, Jono, from Devon and Cornwall Bushcraft. It's his land. We're going to be doing essentially whatever we feel like doing. It's a very, very chilled out time. The goal is that it's completely sculpted by what people want to get out of it. But the ultimate goal of the goal is reinvigoration. It's to really rejuvenate our sense of self. You know, using our hands, being in a natural environment. It's all about that mindfulness element. I'm going to do a little bit of forest bather. I'm going to do some breath work. You know, there's good things happening on this. We're going to do some pottery with the clay that we gather. We're going to do some making fire stuff. So there's still space on that. You know, I'm taking a couple more spaces. The goal is to keep it as a nice, you know, small group. But if you'd like to join, you would be more than welcome. There's still time. It is down in Devon. You don't need to worry about accommodation because you're sleeping on site. So yeah, if you can join, it would be really, really amazing. And that is literally next weekend. So if you have nothing in the diary next weekend, why are you not joining? You owe it to yourself. Just saying. Do you want me to share a link? Is that helpful? I feel like I'm sharing these things all the time. So let me just share it for you. And just on that note, if you can't make that weekend, because you are doing something, well, lucky you, you're doing something. Good for you, rather. I am also running a wild walk. Finally, you've been asking for wild walks. I haven't run very many this year because I have been navigating. I've talked about it, this landowner debate thing. But I'm running a 4-mile loop around Buttermere Water in the Lake District on Sunday, the 24th of November. That is following on from speaking at the Kendall Mountain Film Festival, which is following on from me speaking at the Adventure Mind Conference hosted by Belinda Cook. So it's going to be a bit of a full-on one for me. I've got 4 solid days of stuff. But the Buttermere walk, again, I wouldn't be putting that on if I didn't feel like I needed it as well. It's about communion, coming together, doing a beautiful little walk, celebrating winter walking, and heading out for coffee and cake afterwards, or tea, or something, other beverage of your choice. And if you don't like cake, that's okay. There'll be other things, pasties, whatever. So yeah, there's space on that. It's all on the link. That's my little drop. So now, Paul Dudgeon, I heard you. It's time for the big reveal. Oh, people, it's getting hot in here. Oh yeah, look at that. It's not hot in here, it's freezing. But that's why I'm wearing a jumper. Generally, but also this is the moment. I can't be widescreen enough. I don't have enough space in my van. This, my friends, is the new colour, of my limited edition collection. This is what we're calling Hawaiian blue, shooby dooby dooby, just to, jazz up the winter vibes. And these are on sale for my Patreon community on Thursday, the 7th of November, and then live for public. So that's all of you lot who are not Patreons on Friday, the 8th. You can get your hands in one of these t-shirts. They are limited edition. What we've got in the box underneath the dining room table is what we've got in the box. That's it. When they're gone, they're gone. So make sure you set your alarms. You can get them on my website. It's very exciting, on my store. And yeah, these are exactly the same material as all of the other wild t-shirts. So we've had black, we've had plum, we've had electric orange, we've got earthy green, which is personally my favorite. And then we've got this one as well. What I really like about this color is it's like natural, and yet it's vibrant. It is bright, it's colorful, a little bit safer when you're out in the wintry environment. But it is, I was like, this is such like a spring-like color. Like, why did my patrons choose this? But then I'm looking at it, it's like, no, because it's like compacted snow. That can be blue, or frozen ice. It's actually really cool wintry color. So, it's really exciting. And in other news, because I went to the printers where they have the super cute little Dachshund dog called Goose, who's so nice. Yes, I went to the printers. Sorry, I read a question whilst I was talking, and that's what happens. I went to the printers, and I've also stocked up on the hoodies. So I have organic cotton hoodies with all of the stuff is hand printed by my wonderful friends at my local printing company. It's really not local to here, but down in Somerset. And I'm also hosting 25% off. I meant to bring one. That's really annoying. My whittling knives, which are handmade by a great friend of mine called James, who's a fellow bushcraft passionate person who's also really looking to expand his knowledge. That he's an amazing, amazing woodcrafter. He takes the blades, he cuts them down, he makes the wood. They're out of yew wood. Each one is totally unique. So I'm doing 25% of those off those as well from the 8th to the 24th of November, and that is essentially in preparation for Christmas. So all of this stuff is in preparation for Christmas. So we got these, we got blacks, we got the hoodies back in stock because I know you've been asking for that. They've been out of stock for a while. And I really want to stress, this is potentially the last lot of hoodies I'm going to print. And I know everyone loves the hoodies because they have amazing pockets. Like the neckline is really special. The length of the arms is just right for like everybody. But they're essentially discontinuing them. So it means I have to discontinue them. So if you like the hoodies, I really recommend getting one now because it's highly likely, unless I can source them from somebody else, when they're gone, they're gone. And that's sad because I've been having these hoodies since 2020. They are one of the classic items that I've had for years. But, it's winds of change and we just got to go with it, right? So yeah, so that's my little update on the stuff. There's big things happening next weekend. So please, 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 all of this money, everything that I've invested and everything that I get back from this whole circle that is the store side of things, it completely stays within Wild. It goes towards helping with future productions. It goes towards helping fund me buying music for my videos. It goes towards helping me get out on the trail. It goes towards helping me get to the wild walk so that I can run the wild walks. It's fully one circle. And everything about this, as you know, is all about inspiring and empowering people. That's the key piece. To help people get outside for mental and physical health. You know, I passionately believe that we have it within us to really, really help ourselves through interactions, through nature. We can gain meaning and purpose and connection with each other and with the natural world, and that can really boost our sense of self, empowerment, and well-being as well. So that's my update, which has successfully filled 15 minutes. Now, hopefully everybody who wants to be here is here, and I will just continue to demo this awesome t-shirt. But what I also really like is that they're all like, you know what you're getting, it's just a different color, and it's really exciting. So many of you have been that was very pen. It's because I've been wearing a sword recently. As you might have seen on my socials, I was a Viking this time yesterday. That was brilliant. I wore my sheepskin rug on my shoulders. I had a sword on my shoulders. I had a belt. I had a tunic. It was like, and I had my freak barefoot shoes on, which looked like Viking shoes. Thank you, freak. So that was great. So yeah, that was my life yesterday. What did you do? No, but you're waving a sword, and now I have a pen. Modern life for you. But many of you have answered my questions or my little posts on social media and on the YouTube comments community section, where I've gone, I'm doing a live session. If you have questions, please ask. And I've written them down, as always. Can I read my writing? Questionable. So what I would also like to do is introduce, for some of you who are new, the little way that I tend to do this. When you have a question on these live feeds, it's really helpful on the side if you can put it in capital letters. And what that means is I can then dissect that from the rest of the general shenanigans. But right now, I'm feeling the lack of emojis. So it's time for one more emoji explosion, people. If you want to get your hands on one of these blue t-shirts, please will you share? Are you ready? I want to keep it in the food theme because I flipping love food. The next emoji is oh, I know what we need to share. A waffle! Let me see the waffles, people. Roll them out nice and tidy. Let's go. Oh yeah. Yes! Yasmin's on the waffles. Oh, that's what we like. It's all about the waffles, waffles, waffles. I love to eat the waffles, waffles, waffles. They make me so happy. I don't know what's happening. These live sessions are so weird. They're weird. These live sessions are so weird. They're weird. But I am just here now. I'm singing about the waffles. Right. First question. Am I entertaining you? Oh, God. I'm so grateful I'm not embarrassed by myself anymore just every day, and I'm doing journaling and cold water immersion and trying to cope with my existence. But, you know. Question number 1. How do you get over the fear of solo travel to different countries? This is a brilliant question, I have to say. I think the first thing I would say, I haven't written any answers to this. This is completely like off the cuff. So how do you get over the fear of solo travel to different countries? So I think there's like multiple layers to this. So we've got fear, we've got solo travel, and we've got different countries. And I suppose it's like, as with any English statement, it depends on where the emphasis is. So is the emphasis for this person the fear is sort of the overriding thing because of all the different anxieties? Is it sort of the soloness, or is it the different countries with the different cultures, the language, the sights, the smells, everything like that? So I guess, what I would say is first of all, if you are looking to do more solo stuff, is essentially to challenge yourself to just do more solo stuff in places that it feels comfortable. So, if you're based in the UK, are there places in the UK that you'd like to go do a little bit of a road trip type situation? Are there mountains you want to do, walks you want to do? Like, what's your purpose? Are there we've got Cheddar, famous for its cheddar. We've got Kendall, famous for its Kendall mint cake. We've got yada yada. Everywhere has a little bit of cultural history in the UK, as we all know, and it's what's your interest. See if you can go and find that. Mine clearly just defaulted to food. So challenging yourself in an environment that doesn't feel too difficult. And then, when it comes to other countries, hopefully by then you'll already be slightly more comfortable with, okay, this is how I operate. This is some of my parameters. And I think first of all, going to other countries with other people is something that can really just help you get used to that routine. For me, going to an airport, getting on a plane, the flight's delayed, then you got your transfer, no. Like, I don't even care anymore about what's happening. Like, if my bag doesn't turn up, it's like, okay, it's either lost or it's over there somewhere, yada yada. It doesn't even phase me at all. It's almost just like going to the supermarket because I do it so much. And I guess, then when it comes to other countries, yes, okay, it can be a bit of an immersion when you arrive in that country. But I think it's also having those little creature comforts. So, very simple example. Do I have one here? I like to drink a multivitamin tablet every single day. It's just something that I do, mainly because it helps me get a litre down me very quickly, but I quite like the flavour. And I will always take a tube of these wherever I go in the world. I will also take decaf tea bags. Yes, I'm British. But it's really nice to just have a cup of tea and have that like homely sense. So I think having like a couple of little things that just sort of make you feel like you and stick to your usual routine can be a really nice thing. I like to have good coffee in the morning. So I will take my AeroPress in some places, or, I'll have my stove because I'm camping. And these are the little nuances that just let me bring home on my travels. And that can be a really nice thing to do. But so I think that's where it's kind of like the more travel you do, the more you'll realize like what matters to you, and you can incorporate those things into other countries. But then I think also it's having that why dialed in. Why do you want to go to that country? Like, why are you bothering to push through the fear to get there? And then really just like having that focus, having a plan can be really helpful. Sometimes I find when I get to another country, I just have ambiguity. I almost become quite apathetic and I just don't care about anything because it's just like, yeah, another city, another language, more people. And I don't even leave the room except to get food. So I think if you actually have things that you want to do and go and see, that's obviously a very big motivator and driver to getting immersed in a culture. Obviously, arming yourself with basic things like a little bit of language. I mean, I talked in the off the back of the GR20 in my video, a live session about that. My French is really degraded, and that's because I've been working on Italian and German. Not that you can see improvement, but I have. And it was really difficult for me. I felt uncomfortable and a little bit like I was missing home because that communication barrier was so much more emphasized than I've had in a long time, because I've usually made a lot more effort for the language. And that's something I've really learned from and I'm digesting myself. So there's a few little things. And, I've been thinking about making a video actually just talking about solo travel and sort of really advocating for that, because I think a lot of people can fall into the trap of, I'm not going to do this unless I can get someone to do it with me. And I almost have the exact opposite dialogue, much to the distaste of my friends and family. It's like, I don't want to do that if I can't do it alone. Because it's just, I love being with myself. I love the sense of self-discovery and personal growth that I go through all of the the beauty and adversity that I face when I travel alone. And, I'm very blessed that like my phone provider in most countries offers exactly the same package that I have here. So the truth is, unless I'm actually on the trail and off grid, which is actually quite often, um, you know, I'm fully in contact with friends and family. But also I challenge myself not to be in touch and not to run things by them. And for those of you who are in my Patreon community and you were a part of my fireside event recently, what we talked about was after action reviews. And in that after action review, I sort of said, well, one of the things I've learned is I feel like in the GR20, when I was in Corsica, I communicated with my friends and family more than potentially I, in hindsight, would have liked, because they were not on the trail and they could not comprehend the situations that I was facing and therefore couldn't advise me and help me make solid decisions. The people I should have consulted more were those on the trail, but that had its own spiral, and that's just something I'm learning. But that's off the back of being alone in challenging situations, and then it's also the beauty. And I think in a way, I generally prefer to face the difficulties alone and share the beauty, because it's nice sometimes, but it's just about balancing it out, and what you want to get out of it. So that was a very long answer to the question, but hopefully that helps for some of you. I think it's time for another emoji. Let's do it. Okay, we're gonna have 2 emojis because I wanna hear from you. Like, what's your jam, right? So, if you prefer to travel with somebody rather than alone, you are gonna share the grapes emoji because it's all about togetherness. And then, if you prefer to travel alone rather than with somebody, you are going to share the pineapple emoji. This is a very healthy session today. Bar the waffles, but that's spiritual health. Right, I'm going to put my jumper on now. Oh, we got a few pineapples popping up. Don't hear that every day in a live session, do you? That's funny. What have we got? Yeah, lots of pineapples. Oh, you're all lone rangers. Oh, we got grapes. Yes, Joe, dogs. Correct. Love that. This is good fun. I'm doing this more often. Right, next live session, in case I completely blank that this happens, because I pretty much run on adrenaline in these. Can you please remind me emojis? And we're gonna bring this in a lot. Legends, you are all legends. So the next question number 2. Did you use a campsite on the Alta Via one or just huts? So I don't know if this person has watched the movie yet or not, but a lot of the questions actually are about accommodation, but I'm trying to answer them all independently, so you get the feeling of like, yeah, Abbie answered my question. Or maybe that's just my ego speaking. Yes, so I stayed in just huts. As I explained at the beginning of the movie, I did have my tent on me. I had a very heavy rucksack, and that was because I was going on to another trail, which was known as the Haute Route, or is known as the Haute Route, from Chamonix to Zermatt, directly afterwards, and needed my tent for that trail. So yeah, that's why I carried my tent. But the Dolomites, I did stay in campsites. There are a few forums and blogs where people go, "Oh, this is me wild camping the Alta Via one." I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm not going to promote that. Absolutely not. You saw those wildflowers I walked through. You want to sleep on those? Like, what did they do to hurt you? Like, there's accommodation. Use it. But as I also say in the thing, the accommodation had a huge amount of negatives in terms of particularly single-use plastic. That really, really got to me. It was generally just the water in €4 to €5 plastic bottles. That was really annoying. And I had somebody recently comment on a video like, oh, people are always whining about this. And I was just like, this is not whining, my friend. Like, I really think this is a very important distinguishing. What's the word I'm looking for? Distinguishable thing. Whining, complaining, moaning. These are passive words. These are not active words. That is, they're verbal, but they're not active. Educating and talking about things, like there is an activeness behind what I was trying to communicate. I was talking about filtering water. I was talking about reusing plastic bottles. This is not just whining and then being there anyway. I even had the discussion on camera with myself. Should I be here? Because travel is inherently selfish. But by being here, at least I'm minimizing the plastic bottles. Maybe like 5, 6, 7, 8 bottles, because I'm choosing to filter and go through that process and just money, plastic. But yeah, that was a really random rant. Doesn't answer the campsite situation. But yeah, mostly I stayed in huts on the Alta Via one. They're refugios in Italian. They're really, a lot of them very homely places, very amazing places to meet other hikers. And I won't talk anymore because I know someone's asking about positives, so I'll come back to that. Next question is a cheap question because that's not about the Alta Via one. What's your favourite part of Scotland? Good question. I don't have a favourite part of Scotland. Just Scotland. I really like the borders. I love the coastline of the borders. There's less people in the borders. That's great. I think that's one of the things I just love about Scotland in general. I love the Cairngorms. The lochs in particular, and the forest around Cairngorm is just fantastic. It really feels like you can escape there. I've just spent a chunk of time up there to recharge, and it was premature leaving, if I'm really honest. I have not managed to reach the level of recharge that I actually want. I'm maybe like 12%, just that, like me. We're on slow charging right now, and unfortunately, it's not going to get any higher, I don't think, until I'm back up here. But that's okay. We're all right with that. But I do like the Trossachs. I think the Trossachs is very beautiful because it feels like tighter. It's like a lake district with less people and chaos. Whereas the Cairngorm feels more expansive to me. But then I love the West Coast. I just love it. I think what I love about Scotland in general is the endlessness of like exploring ability. Actually, Tony there on the side is saying Glencoe. That's somewhere I generally don't go. I think the light can be absolutely beautiful there. The peaks are stunning, but it's like, yeah, there's the A82. Like everyone's going to Glencoe, so I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go over here. Thanks. That's exactly what I did the other day, and it was great. I paid off. I avoided people. It was mint. So yeah, that's my jam. Anyway. Next question. Are you speaking at Kendall Mountain Festival? If so, when? Yes, I am, my friends. So when actually is it running? In November, which we're in now. There's the Kendall Mountain Festival, which runs in Kendall, shockingly enough, from the 21st to the 24th of November. Now, I will be speaking on the Saturday at 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. on the Max Adventure stage. So I'm talking a little bit about my journey with them, doing the St. Cuthbert's Way and accessibility to long distance hiking. It doesn't always have to be about roughing it, doing the highest peaks, gnarliest. I stayed in B&Bs. I used bag carrying service. I did it in partnership with Max Adventure. But I'm also going to be talking about my journey, a little bit of a download of how I ended up starting Wild, how I've ended up becoming comfortable talking about my mental health and well-being, and everything around that. So somehow I have to cram it into half an hour. I don't think it's been a very long time since I've done a half an hour talk. Normally I have an hour, so I do like 40 minutes or 45 minutes with then questions. As you know, I'm quite capable of talking, so this could be interesting. But if you're going to swing by and say hello, I would absolutely love that. And actually, my whole little family might be there, so that's quite nice. And if you're going to do that, you may as well stick around for Sunday and come on my Wild Walk, right? It's just down the road. It's Buttermere. Come on. That's a no-brainer. So yes, I will be doing that, which is great. Next question. Did you book your accommodation yourself or through a company? And who would you recommend? Somebody else asked. So I did book this through a company. A lot of the refuges on a lot of these international trails, particularly through Europe, France, Italy, Switzerland, they dedicate a number of beds to companies, so the companies can sell the package. And when you're trying to book this thing yourself, or these things yourself, so not through a company, it can be really difficult because it can say sold out all the freaking time. And you're like, but how? And it's like, they're not sold out, they're just sold to the company. So they are kind of sold out, but you have to go the long way around and pay more for the privilege. So I booked it for a company because I wasn't willing to go through the faff. The oat route, on the other hand, I booked entirely myself, although I didn't finish the hike. That's a different story. But yes, so I don't want to mention the company because I don't recommend them. I stupidly went and did the GR20 with them. And ultimately, what I can say with this company is they'll book you the accommodation and then that's it. Like, don't lean on them for anything else, and don't expect even the information you get from them to be correct. Like rely on Cicerone for that. They're gonna have the facts, right? So I'm not going to recommend them, and therefore I can't speak about another company because I've not done anything with another company. So yeah, I'm afraid I can't answer that, but that's as truthfully as I'm willing to go without risking defamation of company negativity through this live session. All right, next question. You mentioned little privacy / alone time on the trail. Were there any positives to it being more of a social hike? I think that's a fantastic question, actually. Really good insights and just awareness to my situation, what I experienced on that hike. So yes, staying in the refugios, it is a very social experience. You're in dormitories. Granted, they're not like a lot of the French ones, like I also just had on the GR, which are literally like 36, 46 beds in one room. Some of them were sort of 6, 8 beds in one little room, and that was, it's okay, it's cozy, it's fine. And then you're having communal dinners. The trail was quite busy. You saw also in the video there was an ultramarathon, so there were so many people on that day, and it was really quite hard to escape. But what I can say is it wasn't a Tour de Mont Blanc. I remember on the Tour de Mont Blanc, I really needed the toilet at one point, right? And I just wanted to like step off the trail and dig my little hole and do my thing. But like I couldn't. I could not escape the train of people. It was impossible. The GR was like that a little bit as well because everyone was setting out at the same time. But if you got ahead of them, you were okay. But and then I guess the Alta Via one was like that quite a lot, but I don't remember that particularly bothering me. In fact, I mentioned specifically, I did befriend a lot of people on this hike. In fact, 2 people from the States, shout out to Danielle and Vince. We're still in touch, and I recently met them in the States when I was across there in March. Hope to see them again, actually. That should be really cool. So, you know, I met some really lovely people on that hike. And, you know, at the end, when we all finished, we had pizza together, and that was mega. A nice picture of us all sitting at the table. So, you know, that there's those positive experiences. And actually, okay, another emoji. Hi, yeah. Please share. I think I need to deviate from food. Let's go to the next best thing. Animals. Please share the bumblebee. If you stuck around for the credits, I want to see if you read what I put in the credits. Because, you know, I've got my like scrolling thing. I put my lovely Patreon people in there, my good friends who help make some of the music. You know, that's all in there. And then I put a thing. Oh, I'm not getting bumblebees here. Oh, we stepped away before the credits. Oh, people, you missed out on a golden nugget there. Ryan, ledge. Yes, Ryan. Oh, okay, now I'm getting some. Okay, fine. Good. We need to bring back the bee population. But not as many bees as pineapples. You know, we need bees to populate the pineapples, people. Oh, yeah, you missed out. So, yeah, I put a thing, spoiler, at the end of the credits, literally at the end. I put a little thing. I wrote a thing. It was a thing. I did a thing. Jeremy Clarkson. Fell asleep. Oh, that's not good enough. Oh, here we go. Now we're getting some bumblebees. This is good. Just got paper cut. How did that happen? Yes, so I shared. You should be sorry. No, it's fine. I shared that this was officially the trail, the Alta Via one, where I stepped into the person that I am now. I literally feel like it was an unzipping of my body, a shedding of a layer, and a stepping forward. So maybe it was like a stepping out, actually, rather than stepping in, taking another step closer to being who I am. And it was the trail, yes, Joe, where I officially donned the use of the pronouns they, them. It is the trail where I officially had the courage to say, you know what, I identify as a non-binary person. I did it. That was this flipping trail. Yeah. So you know that part where in the movie where I go like, oh, you know, I'm not really, something just felt wrong. I wasn't really like sure what to do. I spent like 4 or 5 hours at that refuge. I drank my latte macchiato, had my strudel, had another strudel, flipping good strudel. And then I went down and I filmed the wildflowers for ages. One of my favorite butterflies is the swallowtail butterfly. I was trying to film it. It's so hard to film. Why are butterflies so hard to film? It's making my voice break. It can't break, but it could break. And it's just, and then basically I started walking and I got to just beyond the refuge. And then the man's like, oh, you forgot to pay. I'm like, oh, crap. So I did, sorry. So I went back and went to pay. And then Anna rang and I had a chat with, so Anna's my partner. And we were on the phone for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. And I was just like, yeah, I've met some people on this trail. And one of them I identified as non-binary. And further down the trail, actually that day, we sat down, we had a really amazing conversation, just sitting on a bench outside of the refuges. They showed me their after top surgery, sort of talked about their experience and their relationship, because there were 2 people, and it was like, oh my gosh, I have just been gifted this person right now to like cement the feelings that I felt, and be like, this is the, you could be this happy if you just let go of some of this trauma and the stuff that you've been brought up in, and just be like, this is who I am. And I did in that exact day, and it was amazing. So that was due to meeting some of these people, because it was just like literally walking alongside them every single day. It's like, I can be walking this path in the pain and the misery and the suffering, or I can be walking that path simply by saying, yes, I choose myself now. I choose my own agency to write my own story, to own my story, to live can't say the word, to live unapologetically as who I am, and to be brave, to step into the gray zone, and it was so profound. It was amazing. So yeah, that happened, and that was off the back of meeting some people. So I think you can't really top that, in my opinion. So that happened. So that was that question. Next question. Would you hike the trail again in the same season or different? So the Alta Via one you can actually only hike in the summer season. It's like a lot of the alpine trails. You've got snow to think about. So quite often the season will start somewhere in the middle of June and it will finish around middle of September. And that's completely dependent on the snowpack and how much snow there is, how much snow is coming in, moving in. Blah, blah, blah. You saw some of those cols that I went up and over. So they're the mountain passes. You go between the two mountains. There was snow lingering when I did it. And I think the risk of going too early, like many of these trails, is you're dealing with snow. You could potentially find conditions where you need ice axes and crampons, but then you go a bit later and you miss the wildflowers. So, long story short, I would go in exactly the same season as I did. So yeah, it was great. Next question. This is a really good one. It's about public transport. How did you get to and from the trail? So I film everything on my expeditions, but not everything makes the movie because it's really difficult. I'm going to start with from the trail because that was easy. So the trail ends literally at a bus stop. There's not even a timetable on the bus stop. And you're like, right, talk about arriving in another country. And you saw the lady in the video. My nickname on that trail was Süßkartoffel, which is sweet potato in German, because it's like it's literally like the first word I learned in German, and I like to tell people that because everyone goes Süßkartoffel, and it's great. I love sweet potatoes. So, so she was there, and we both ended up catching the bus together. And you get the bus to Belluno, and then from Belluno you can get onward transport. I'm trying to think what I did. I think I got a train or something. But I actually went down to Italy, so that's not very helpful. So getting to the trail was a little bit more like, okay, we've got multiple layers here. I flew into Venice, and then what did I get trained? Do you know what? Stuff this. I don't have my guidebook on me. I don't have my itinerary, but I used the Cicerone guidebook. The Cicerone guidebook was really, really helpful for planning this trail. And what I really like about those is they simplify the transport to and from trails. They're always updating their books. So you saw me using it, and that's essentially how I planned it. But it was a couple of buses. I stayed in that place with the 3 peaks. I stayed somewhere overnight, and then the next morning I got the bus to the start at the lake, which I also can't remember now. Lago de Brez, there we go. So that was it wasn't that hard. It's just always a little bit nerve-wracking. I think there was like a train, bus. But the beautiful thing about it is, whilst yes, on the internet it will seem very intimidating and far away, when you're actually there, it makes a lot more sense, and people are always willing to help. So yeah, I always double check. I'm not officially diagnosed, but I think I'm like numbers dyslexic. I really, really struggle with numbers. I read them backwards. They're upside down. They look like artwork to me rather than an actual like something that means something numerical. So I always double check with people about timetables that I'm reading it right. And people were very, very helpful. So that was good. But it was just so hot and sweaty and not nice traveling conditions. So yeah. Oh, that was it. I got the coach. Oh no, that was Venice to Chamonix. Oh, never mind. Whatever. So the Cicerone guidebook, on that note, that I'd not this is not a words. I work with Cicerone in a sense of I support them and what they do because I believe in their mission. So I will just tell people about Cicerone. So I guess I'm an advocate. That's a good word. And as a result for being an advocate, they've given me a discount code that I can give to you folks. So if you are looking to get, again, Christmas presents, any Cicerone guidebooks, I've just shared on the side there my deals and discounts page. And if you scroll down there, you'll see Cicerone. Here we go. So they've given you, rather, not for me, 20% off if you use Abbie 10, which doesn't make sense. Maybe it's 10% off. Maybe I got my numbers. And you can probably also see on that page, I've got a few other discounts. Tent meals, I use those all the time. I always take tent meals. There you go. Solo travel, always take those with me. Terra Nova, good tents. So that's just one little thing to bear in mind if you want to get one of those to help with planning. And then another person asked me, why was your rucksack so heavy? And I responded, well, because I have 6 kilograms of camera gear. It's not an exaggeration. My tripod's 1.5. It's the lightest, sturdiest ratio that I can find. Really good tripod. I've got my camera and I've got 2 lenses, proper chunky lenses, because that's what's required. I have bought other lenses, but I still go back to these 2. I always have spare polarizers. I always have lots of batteries. I have lots of power banks because I never know whether I can charge. I have my GoPro. I have my GoPro batteries. I always have a spare GoPro because I've broken GoPros before. I have a spare phone because I've broken my phone before. I have my Zoleo, which is my device for communicating satellitely to people. And on the list goes. So yeah, it's quite a chunky monkey. But then off the back of that, I just, as you saw, I had kit for the oat root, or as you've heard, for the oat root afterwards as well. So that was why it was quite heavy. Right, so that's those questions. Bish bash bosh. Let's have a look, because I saw some of you shouted at me. Thank you for shouting. I really appreciate it. Also, it's really nice now I can see where you're all from. It's very exciting. So I'm staring through you because I'm looking for questions. Broccoli, very nice. Right, so now's the time, folks. If you're actually here and you have questions, again, please shout at me. Write them in capitals. So Vicky Frost is asking, going to the Aosta area next year. Suggestions for route/books. Don't want to have to do too much height, so low level or ways up so we can do higher stuff. Yeah, it does make sense. Again, I would look at Cicerone, because one of the things that they have in their guidebooks as well is sort of hiking in the Dolomites or hiking in the Tyrol or whatever, like actually dedicated guidebooks. But also one of the things I always do when I'm actually doing like day walks or a dedicated amount of time somewhere like the Aosta Valley is go to the tourist information, because they have everything you need. So 2020, I spent some time in Garmisch and Urwald in the Austrian and German Alps. And I just went to the tourist information. I didn't have any guidebooks. I didn't have any information on me. I mean, I could say Süßkartoffel, so that's all I needed to know. Ich liebe Süßkartoffel. Danke. Yeah, so, and then I went there and I got the leaflets. So like, here's all the walks you can do, cable cars, bish bash bosh. Really, really helpful. So that's what I would suggest. But a Cicerone guidebook can be really nice. And also some app on your phone, maybe the Hiker app, Hiker with 2 eyes, because you can get all of the international mapping on there for the membership thing. I think you get it for free now, actually, and download it offline, so you can plot your own little things and tie it up with the information that you get in the leaflets as well. So that could be helpful for you. I hope that helps. Right, next question. Cloudbase, I like it, is asking, how much did your rucksack weigh on the Alta Via 1? Thanks for appreciating my film work. I appreciate the comment. I don't know how much it weighed, but I have to say it probably wasn't too dissimilar to the GR. So it's probably around 20 kilograms. It might have been a little bit less because I didn't have too much food on me, I don't think. I mean, it's a minute ago that this thing happened now. But yeah, it's probably between 18 and 20 kilograms. No wonder I have back pain. So yeah, thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. Joe is asking, other than the water bottle situation, how did you find the snack plastic situation? I'll be honest, I carried my own snacks because I anticipated snacks being expensive on the trail. You saw I bought an apple, and I think I showed that I drank Coke every now and then. That's a really rare thing. I try and buy, when there is a Coke in an aluminium can, because it's much easier for that to be recycled from the refuges. But yeah, I carried my own snacks, just like I did on the GR, actually. I had a lot of my own stuff, so I make my own trail mixes quite often. So with dates and avocado. What's the orange avocado? Apricot, that one. Nuts and stuff like that. And then I have bars and things. Waffles, obviously. Tea bags, I mentioned it all. And then because I have to say, actually, the Italian refuges feed so much better than the French ones. I was hungry on the GR, but the Alta Via, I wasn't really very hungry. They fed you really well. So you get a 3-course evening meal more often than not. And this is one of the plus sides of staying at the refuges, really. You could have breakfast most days if you wanted to. And then a lot of people would buy lunch. But since I'm not a breakfast person, having food at like 7 o'clock meant that I really didn't need to eat anything other than a bar and a waffle or whatever I could source, some fruit that maybe I bought in the day, because of my metabolism. Like, I generally don't eat until sort of 12 to 14, maybe 16 hours after I've had my evening meal, and usually that puts me quite close to dinner. So that's just how I operate. But for people who need a solid 3 courses, yeah, you probably have to buy some things. But they did have like chocolate and like stuff, but it's mountain prices. How tough are the scrambling sections? I don't remember, if I'm really being honest. I think I'm a little bit warped in my memory, especially since having done the GR now. And some people have asked me, how does it compare with the Tour de Mont Blanc? And I can't comment on that either, because I did the Tour de Mont Blanc in 2019. I might have to go back and do it again. But the thing is, because in the last year since I did the Alta Via, you know, my experience level has increased so much. I mean, I flipping did Mont Blanc 2 months after that, you know, and then I hiked for 3 weeks across Arctic Sweden, and since then I've done the GR and yada yada. And then, you know, the Tour de Mont Blanc at the time that I did it was the pinnacle of what I'd done. And I think a lot of it is about your experience and your confidence level and, you know, what you enjoy. And the scrambles I remember on the Alta Via, I really enjoyed. A lot of them on the GR, I did not. So I think that speaks to them possibly being quite accessible. I don't particularly remember feeling like there was too much exposure. But as you also saw in one of the quotes that I quote, because it's me. I don't know how to phrase that. In the GR, on the Alta Via, there are alternative routes. So there are alpine routes, and every now and then I took the alpine route, but I tried to stick with the main route more often rather than deviate, because that's what most people tend to do. But I think you could make it a little bit harder and you could make it a little bit easier. But the other thing that really factors into that difficulty level is the weather. And as you saw, more often than not, I had good weather until those last couple of days. It's not that it was bad, I just didn't want to get struck by lightning. So yeah, it's a little bit situational and personal, I think, to answer that one. But good question, I like it. Okay, so Shoutouts has asked difficulty of the Tour de Mont Blanc as compared to the Alta Via. I think I've commented on that one. Any plans to return to the US? Yes. And are any of the hikes on your bucket list? No, actually, I've not isolated out anything. I just want to explore. And yeah, like when I was in the States in Utah earlier this year in March, we sort of went to different national parks, did some walks in Bryce Canyon, did some walks in Zion, did some walks in Capitol Reef. We were working at the Field Center. I was working with Utah Valley University. Did some walks in Valley of Fire State Park. You know, I've quite enjoyed that sort of the day walks. I think I would like to cross the boundary into backcountry stuff. But I think, there you go, there's a good one. I think I'd like to do that with somebody else first before I do it alone. So yeah, that's where I'm up to. Oh man, we have questions. Oh, Dave's here. Hi, Dave. Dave has been busy. Dave was yesterday Harry Potter. You see the resemblance? He's kept his scar on. I think he thinks he's so cool. he's like, yeah, I'm owning my Harry Potter story. All right, people. Emoji. If we think Dave is a good Harry Potter, give us a sunflower. There we go. Sorry, I'm back to questions now. How did you pre-set up your lodging, phone call, email? It was through a company, so it was email. Okay, hey, everything glittered is asking, can you please recommend a very lightweight, comfortable, waterproof jacket that doesn't cost an absolute fortune? No, I can't. I'm sorry. One thing that I actually really want to enlighten you on, I don't know if everybody knows this, and I don't know the actual like legitimate brand technical terms at the moment, but I was recently having a conversation with some people in mountain training, which is the affiliate body or the main body that oversees sort of your mountain leader, winter mountain leader, international mountain leader, hill and moorland, whatever, all of us who take people outside, essentially. And there's been a big clampdown on the environmental standards of the waterproofing, in particular, the durable water repellency, the chemicals stuff that is put into our gear that we use, right? So here's my waterproof, my Lagazuoi waterproof. I've just bought a new one and it wetted out straight away. I'm like, what the flip? I've just paid 370 quid for this. I don't have 370 quid to throw away, pretty much like the stupid trekking pole situation I just had. Different story. But anyway, thank you, Tony. Yeah, so the long story short, because of the changing environmental standards, the companies can't make things as waterproof anymore, because essentially they're having to get rid of the chemicals that make things waterproof. Now, the cycling industry is far further behind than the outdoor walking in particular industry. So if you are looking to get something that's legitimately waterproof, sort of that plastic bagness, then actually going for cycling waterproof is at the moment a more reliable gamble. But if you're looking for that more environmental aspect, then sticking with your hard shells, you're walking equipment is good. And at this point in time, I don't think I'd recommend spending hundreds of pounds, because the truth is it's not going to last as long as it's used to. It's just not. If you don't mind weight, if you're more of a day walker, Paramo is a brand that has been the forerunner of environmental technology and solid waterproof technology for as long as anyone can remember, or I can remember. I'm 28 now. But what they're not very well known for is lightweight gear. So yeah, if you want something that's like pretty bomb proof, then that Paramo might be the route to go. If you want to stick with your hiking gear, just know that it's not going to last as long, waterproofing wise, essentially. And then, yeah, cycling gear could also be a good option. You could potentially get something a little bit cheaper down that route as well. How do you motivate yourself? Thanks for the question. Karen is asking, how do you motivate yourself to get out when the weather is bad? First of all, I don't say that there's anything as bad weather. I know it's cliche, but you really have to hack your mindset, or that's what I've had to. I think if I'm looking outside, or even I'm surrounded by people who go, oh, the weather's rubbish today, it's like, it's just raining. It's just rain. It's just cold. It's just mud. Like, it's not going to kill me. Like, I'm not going up that mountain where I'm going to get extreme exposure and hypothermia. I'm just going out for a cycle. It's safe enough. So yeah, I think that's just literally one of the ways. It's actually like directly changing our language and the way that we see things. I've been working on it for ages, a video, a top 10 tips for staying adventurous and active during the winter season, which is just taking me forever to edit it. Like, I don't know why. I just need to get on with it. So apologies, because I think that could be helpful for people. I'll try and get that done. Maybe I could get that out for tomorrow. Yeah, anyway. So there's that. So that's honestly one of the things. Being prepared, thinking ahead. If you know it's going to be dark, you can take a torch. If it's going to be cold, layer up. Going out with people, having accountability, that can be really helpful. Karen, you've got Patreon. Tell people you're going to do something. They'll check in, make sure you did it. And having fun. You just have to have fun in winter. Like, the truth is, if you want to have a good summer, you need to have a good winter. Like, I've been talking with a really good friend of mine recently, and we've been going through her sort of goals list, and she knows what she wants to achieve for next summer. And I said, look, if you want to get that next summer, you've got to do the work now. Now is the time to do the work. Summer is when you just enjoy, So if any of you do have goals for next year, like, it's time to do the thing. Don't let the darkness, the cold, the weather, the mud stop you from being awesome. In fact, you're going to be freaking more awesome and feel even more like epic for doing that, particularly when you're looking back in springtime. So there's a few suggestions anyway. Oh, hang on. Oh, we got a few sunflowers. Good, that's nice. Right, sorry. Paul Dudgeon. Oh, hang on. Sorry. Gavin Jones, I missed you. If we've limited time, what 4 or 5 day section of the Alta Via would you recommend? Ooh. That's a really hard question. Well done. Good question. You shut me up. Congratulations. Lago de Braise is really worth visiting. It's unfathomably beautiful, but there's a lot of people. The Lagazuoi stretch is also phenomenal, I have to admit. Maybe starting at Lagazuoi, because you also need to think about entrance and exit points. Lagazuoi, it's all worth doing. I think the last day was the most underwhelming. It was nice. It was really like mellow, but it wasn't the grandeur of the last few days that it had before. So that doesn't answer your question. Maybe get the Cicerone guidebook and have a look at where you can get on and off. Yeah. I mean, have a look at a movie, see where I was most excited, go there. Okay. Thanks for your question, though. That was a really good question. I'm sorry that was a terrible answer. If I come up with anything better, I will let you know. Right, let's try and wrap this up, because I thought I wasn't even going to be here for an hour, but clearly I am. Paul is asking, best meal from Tent Meals, looking at what food to eat. 14-day hike. What are you doing, Kate Praff? Or did I just guess that in one? No, it's my ego again. Sorry. I really like the Moroccan one. I really like the Italian one, and there's a rice one. That's probably my least favorite, but it's because I don't really like spice too much. And then the breakfasts are okay. The one thing I would say breakfast is they've got salt in them, so I always expect porridge to be quite neutral or a bit sweet, but actually quite salty, which is quite nice. So yeah, I can send you a few samples, mate, if you like. Yeah, because you're cool. Will you do some walk in Switzerland? Yes. I hope to go back and do the oat route someday. Actually, guys, this is a genuine question for you that I'm just going to let you ponder as I wrap this up. So I'm currently editing the route. Now, I mentioned I didn't finish this hike. And I'm really struggling to know whether to put it out as a movie or not. Because, to be honest, I was struggling literally from the moment I set off from Chamonix. And I feel like the content I've got, like, I'm in a really poor mindset. The Sony stuff is great. Like, the B-roll stuff is really nice because I just point at the landscape and it's great. But I'm interested to know, like, because I was thinking about this, like, do I just let it go? And it's just like, whatever. Like, I don't need to waste the time editing this. Like, doesn't matter. Or should I try and sculpt a production out of what I have got and talk you through the process of what I went through and have it as a little bit of like, here's me watching myself going through this experience and here's what I learned from it. But I think the only reason, and the other thing as well that's keeping me away from doing that is I don't know what was wrong. I was burnt out, I think, mentally. Like, you know, I'm still really wrestling with a lot of the same stuff that pulled me off the trail then, which is a lot about like, what's the point? You know, you go through this extremely sacred journey, you put some pictures on social media and they're gone in 24 hours. But for you, it's something that like really matters. Like I'm struggling with this whole essence of onlineness. But also I want to share things. I want to help people. I want to see people do cool stuff in the way that it makes me feel amazing. But also there's a time to pull off the trail. So I don't know, any thoughts, feelings? Let me know. Right, okay. And then, oh yeah, of course. Great outdoor challenge. I need to check that. Well done, Paul. So right, I think I got through all the questions, so that's cool. Put it out. Oh, thank you, Bob. Okay, cool. I'm just worried that people just think that like, I don't know, like, can I just be honest with you for 1 second? I'm not going to do my whole YouTube rant here because I've already just alluded to it. I really think YouTube is on its way out because it's becoming, in my opinion, very sensationalist. I am struggling on my YouTube channel. Everything is just, it's static or it's going down. My revenue is dropping from everything. Granted, I'm not putting things out like I used to, but I was a slave to YouTube, you know, like doing a video every single week. It's like, that was my life. That's why I don't know who I am at the age of 28, because yeah, cool. I've this big long YouTube list of videos, but they're not being promoted anymore because there's so many people making movies. They're just redundant. They're just sitting there. And I think someone commented on my Alta Via one, like, don't understand how your movies don't have millions of views. Like, I don't know. You know, and so I'm worried that if I put out yet another thing where I'm talking about my mental health, that it's just like, oh, there's Abbie talking about the mental health because that's what Abbie does. And then there's someone else who's like, look at me doing this gnarly ridge with this amazing drone footage and look, one-footed and oh, look, tree pose and na-na-na and all fancy-pantsy and like I'm here alone, even though you're not because someone's clearly filming that. And I can't compete with that. I can't compete anymore with the online world. Like I feel as though I am disappearing. I am dissolving like a meringue in water. That is me. That's how I feel right now. And like I have fought for so long. That panic attack at the beginning of the Alta Via, it's like, what am I doing, man? Like, what am I doing? This pack is too heavy. I'm carrying 6 kilograms. I'm eating away at my bones, my muscles, my tendons. I'm talking about this raw stuff. I'm making this movie, and yet it's not going to be seen. It's not going anywhere. Like, it's just another movie. And, oh, Abbie talking about the mental health. And, oh, Abbie's a they, them. You'll never be a they, them. You know, oh, that's all consequences of your mental health. And it's so freaking difficult. It's so difficult. So I guess that's where I'm a little bit coming from with the oat route. It's like, yeah, okay, it's okay to quit. I mean, you guys are all here. You people are all here because I'm feeling the love and the care, right? Like, and that it counts and it has to count. And I think this is partly why I'm spending. I need this concentrated time in Scotland. Why do I have to leave Scotland? Because I need to be alone in the landscape that doesn't judge. It just welcomes me. It's like, oh, it's pouring down with rain. I'm going for a walk. That's great. I can listen to the natural sounds. Oh, you know, there's beavers. I can go and find the beavers. Oh, I can go for a swim in the loch. It's freezing cold. I feel like utter misery. I am drowning in my fears, my insecurities, my inadequacy, my I'm not enoughness. You know, I was born biologically female. That's something that many female people wrestle with, and many people of differing genders as well. I'm not enough. and walking into the water, it's like, okay, that doesn't matter right now. I'm good. And it's like, yeah, I don't know, folks. I need to make a video talking about this, I guess. But I guess I'm trying to hack my mindset to see what I need to see, not see what I don't need to see. Does that make any sense? It's like I recently put a post out on Instagram and Facebook. It's the first time I've shared a topless picture. And I really don't care what the response was. I want to express my exuberant gratitude for all of you that did comment with love and appreciation. But I got some quite harrowing hate mail on Facebook off the back of that. And it doesn't hurt me anymore. I mean, it does hurt me because, like, I just think they're fundamentally wrong. And it just hurts me that they're living in so much misery. And it's like, why would you want people to be in pain and actually possibly be dead because you don't think that they should live free? But that's a side note. So clearly people are staying online for this because I can see those numbers going up and staying steady. So that's cool. I'll just rant. No, but honestly, it's like that was me living my truest, realest, happiest life. And people have always got something to say about that. So I think it's like I don't want to look at what the critics and the naysayers say. As that what's that quote? The man in the arena. It's like I'm in the freaking arena. Sorry, that might have come across as quite loud. I'm in the arena, and I don't throw tomatoes at me. I'm vegan. That's great. Throw eggs at me. I'll be veggie. That's okay. Throw a steak. I will mourn the loss of the cow, but that's okay. It's like you just that, and that's why I put this post out where it's like we see what we want to see. If we look at the negativity in the world, we're going to feel the negativity of the world. If we look at the positive, it doesn't mean we're in denial. It means we're keeping ourselves in a healthier place so that we can give back to the world and contribute to the positive energy. Everything is energy. Everything is a feedback loop. We are energy. What we receive, what we give. If it's not love, if it's not light, if it's not healing and health and passion and enthusiasm and goodness and joy, that's not going to come back to us. So we have to embody that. And so I'm trying my very best to embody that. And sometimes I just have to step away and recharge. So I guess that's why this oat route, I don't know what happened. Like I couldn't articulate on the trail what was going on, but I was hurting. And I'm hurting now. Like the pain is so unfathomably visceral. I can't explain it. There are not the words to explain it. And I just feel like I live in a grey zone because I identify as non-binary, but almost every element of my life feels non-binary as well. It's full of conflicts and opposites. It's like I'm so immensely fulfilled and happy, and yet I feel exhausted and like apathetic towards things. I love being out in the wilderness and the wild and being alone, but then I get lonely and it can be hard, and on and on it goes. But then the other day, and this is why I have to be in nature, I will shut this thing off in a minute. I was looking at the mountains, and it's like this is the most beautiful scene right now. Like I've just been looking at this mountain all morning. Like, why is it suddenly so nice now that I want to get the drone out? And it's like, oh, you know why it's so nice right now? Because there's light and there's dark. And it's like, that is what is making the most colourful image of all, because there's everything there. It's not just one or the other. It's a complete explosion of beauty because you can't make sense of it. It's shifting, it's changing, it's evolving, it's dancing, it's being painted as this beautiful piece of artwork with all of the different shades. And that is what I am. And that's what you are. And that's what we are. And that's where it's like, when I say that we are nature, it's not just that, oh, yeah, we're like apes and, eat plants. It's like, no, you're a piece of art, people. It's like, it's mad. Like the beauty we see in the autumnal colours and in the waters of Lago di Braies, and the sky is constantly changing, night, day, aurora borealis. That's us. Boom. I was like, oh yeah, that's why I need to come to Scotland. That's all right, that is. Where are those reindeer? So, yeah, it's profound. It's real. And that's what stay wild means. In fact, where's my notebook? I'm going to let you in on something. Do I have my notebook? And then I'll end this thing. Because I know that Where's my notebook? Winter can be hard for people, and I wanna help. I wanna help people. Where's my notebook? So messy in here. There's my map of Scotland. You don't need that. Oh, here it is. Found it. Right, are you ready? Also, thank you to the lovely patron who sent me this notebook. Question is, am I going to find it now? So there's something about wildness, and then this is what I'm going to wrap it up. So whilst I'm looking, I'm going to say thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. I want to read all of your comments, but I'm going to do that in privacy of my own space. Right, are you ready? This is what spend more time in the wild, stay wild means. A wild place isn't one unchanged by humans. It's one that changes us. Boom! And that is why we need to get out to wild places. And that is what spend more time in the wild and stay wild, staying wild, embodying that means. That's what it's all about, folks. And by being here, you are helping me on this mission to help yourselves, to help other people, and to help us live much more harmoniously in our home, which is the wild, inside and out. Love to you all. Until next time, enjoy your adventures. Thank you for being here. And stay wild. I'll see you in the next video. Over and out.